Well, you've certainly been a major player in making the city government continue to work effectively for the citizens of Fitchburg, as well as maintaining that open democracy of people being able to come to meetings and being able to express their their opinions. So kudos to you and your staff for all the extra work you put in on making that possible for the residents of Fitchburg, for the citizens of Fitchburg. So I'd like to ask, just to kind of maybe take the broader view now, to step back a little bit from the technical details. Um, what new learnings or insights do you think you have after living through these months of pandemic regarding the delivery of local news? Anything you've learned from this experience, or new thoughts about the news?
So I'm a I don't like I don't want to use the word junkie, but I'm a news junkie. I do truly love news, love local news, and I can tell you, before we ever started talking Fitchburg, I was attending a conference in person. We used to do that, remember? We
Way back
I was
when.
way back when, right? Attending a conference, and I remember at this big keynote. Deal, they had a bunch of people come in, and somebody said local news is where it's at for community media. And the group that was meeting was media stations like ours from all across the United States. And this person is standing up there saying, we need more local news. Hyper local news is where it's at. And I remember being struck by that wow, that's so powerful. And we're lucky enough that myself and Andrew both have worked in the local news business in this market. So we had some ideas and insight behind there, but we also it was the staff. I mean, my staff are second to none. That pulled it together to be able to pull in a newscast to set ourselves up to where we are today. So saying all of that, and putting that all into motion, the news gathering and the information we want to get out, it's critical to get out the facts, the direct information and where it's coming from. And something that we believe in as a staff together is where we find the news sources and stuff, we want people to be actually able to find that. So anything that we report on during Talking Fitchburg, when we post our headlines out, which we do every day, we post them up on Facebook and YouTube. We actually share a link to every single story where I found it. And that way people can go back and look at that story for their own liking. So, in the news business, you're basically given the short amount of time to, fill you up with as much news as possible, right? And so sometimes we don't get to read everything that we want to. Our show's a little bit more laid back. That's our goal. Is it wasn't to be one person sitting behind a news desk. You'll notice that if you ever watched Talking Fitchburg before I was sitting at my house doing this, it's a round desk. It's inviting. It's more interview set style. We had microphones that are look like a podcast type mech. We wanted it to be different, but still get the information out there. So it looks like a news show, it acts like a news show, but it's still, to us, a laid back format. And so the news that we're putting out for the residents, we really rely on finding it, from our health officials, especially during COVID, looking at CDC all the way down to Dane County Public Health. We're trying to find all of the information and put it out there. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. I think we've changed graphics repeatedly on our media channel with up-to-date information. That's our community bulletin board channel, and trying to keep up with all the changes and mandates and what's going on. But because we have this format in the daily newscasts, we're lucky enough that we can get on every day and give out, the latest information that we can at that time. So it's been interesting. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of noise from the federal government all the way down on what's going on out there. Our goal is, well, what's happening at City Hall? Is there anything we need to get out from City Hall out to the residents? And then for me and for TF, or Talking Fitchburg, TF, I really believe in safety. And if you've watched the show enough, you know that I love safety and getting safety tips out there. So that format was already there before COVID. So it was an easy thing. We know where the material is. We know how to get it out there. and share it. And we follow a lot of different uh, direct source news links. So again, we go right to the source when we're trying to find out information that we're putting out there. So I think that's really important in this day and age when it comes to news. We want to make sure that people know where we're finding it, how you can get access to it, and it's not just me telling you what's going on in in a short amount of time. So it's a long-winded answer there, but kind of give you a look behind the scenes of how we gather that stuff every single day.
Well, it's that trust and respect that you have on the local level that's so important, and that you do that in a very conscientious way that you're obviously very passionate about and care very deeply about, Jeremy. May I ask one more question, which is maybe if there's any particular story to share that stands out due to the pandemic, that you think is important for the Fitchburg community to hear. Anything that's happened with you in particular, with Talking Fitchburg, with FACTv, any story that you can think of that you'd
Oof.
like?
Well, I don't know that there's been a favorite moment. You know
Or a
what's
difficult one,
you know what's
or
been unique. I would say look where I'm sitting right now and doing the news. And look where we're finding and talking to people. We're talking. We've had some of our similar guests continue to come on, yourself and others, and you know even during a pandemic. And I think that's something that really, for me, is very powerful. Is we are really lucky that during a pandemic we're still able to operate and continue to do the things that we can do. From my standpoint and for my staff, that we can continue to work from home and make this operation go. When you consider that we were all coming into the office, all coming together, doing our work, making it happen, and then have to walk away and turn everything back on from all these different parts of home. I think that's impressive. Andrew and I have spent so much time together, physically apart, but I feel like I still know him every day because we've talked so much. But to operate a show, I mean, he's literally directing the show right now from his house. He's sitting in front of a digital switcher and he's switching between us, and he's actually doing the show like he would be if we were sitting together in the office. And I think that's amazing. And I think I've heard this from many people. And what if this pandemic hit 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago? The way we are with technology today, we are so lucky that we have access to that, because that played a huge role in keeping what could still be open today, for work and play and everything else. So I think if I was going to pick one thing, it's the technology has been just amazing that it's there. It came to bad, and in most cases, at least for us, it's worked out very well.
Great. Well, Jeremy, I'd just like to say, on behalf of the Fitchburg community, just thank you for all your efforts and your staff's efforts to bring the latest news every day to the residents of Fitchburg. And thanks for letting us come behind the cameras a little bit with you to see how things work behind the scenes, and especially that power of technology that you just mentioned, that's just made things happen, and almost seamlessly from your viewers' point of view. So our intention now is to post Jeremy's interview and other interviews we have in the future regarding the pandemic and how it's impacted Fitchburg residents on our Fitchburg website, which is fitchburghistory.org, for all to enjoy and learn from, both now and into the future. So Jeremy, thank you for being our first interview. It's been a pleasure to turn the tables and be on the other side of the interview table, and just very much appreciate that today.
No problem. Thanks for the time. And I do want to quickly just thank again my staff are second to none, Catherine, and they're the ones that have put in the work day in and day out. All of us in some fashion has continued to come in every week since March. to continue the operations, and I cannot thank them enough, truly. And all the staff at the City of Fitchburg has been amazing through this. It's really shown just how tight a family can be, especially during these tough times. So yeah, just a shout out to all of the staff. It's amazing team to be with.
Great, great. Nice opportunity to be able to acknowledge that too, Jeremy. Well, thank you for
Absolutely.
today. Thank you for
No,
today.
and thank
every day.
you. It's fun to be on the other side, I guess, for a little while. It's still a little strange, but no, we appreciate it. And I'll jump in and say, Catherine, thank you again for doing this. I think it's going to be neat to learn all the different stories of what's happened, and glad it is being documented. I think that's super important. And we'll get this posted up on our site as well. I got to plug it, fitchburgwi.gov, and FACTv will have it for you as well. And Catherine, we look forward to checking back in with you next month.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, thank you. That's Catherine. She's going to take my job. I can see it now. She can deliver the news every day better than I can. I know it for a fact. And we'll talk to her off air and see if we can get her to do that. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.